How do I make my first video? How do I do it? How do I make my first video? How do I... I'm at a loss. How do I do it? Oh boy, oh boy. I could try to be extra energetic. I mean, I could try that. I could try being really energetic, like a few other people do. No, that's not me though. I could. Oh, what could I do? I could do one of them self-introduction videos where I state what's going to be on the channel, but I don't think I'm ready for that. I mean, just look at my feet. Look at my feet. They're gliding along. This isn't right. That isn't right at all. Here, I'll do something they're not expecting. That's what you do. You do the unexpected. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a boring video. That's it. That's genius. I'm gonna make a boring video. Let's do it.
All right. So this was not the best way to introduce this channel, but this is just something I could do pretty quickly, and it'll get me making some videos again. So it is what it is. This is what I chose to do first. You won't be seeing these type of videos that often, more like once a month, if that. This is gonna be a dev blog or like a live stream kind of approach to making a game, but I will not be doing anything behind the scenes. If I am working on this project, I will be recording it and doing commentary. Commentary could be off topic, or it could be on topic, or I could have special guests to help me with some stuff, because this is going to be quite ambitious, and I definitely am going to need help from either comments or real programmers that are in the field, because oh boy. So enough beating around the bush, because so what this project is I would like to bring Weiss Schwarz in a multiplayer game such as VR chat, which is probably what the format I'll use, but not use Weiss Schwarz, like copy the mechanics of the game but not the cards, or copy something but not something else. We'll figure that out as we go, just to avoid copyright stuff, just so we don't step on anyone's toes. But the core mechanics of Weiss Schwarz I want to play online, because for some reason Weiss Schwarz decided to completely forget about doing online matches or like online test matches with their game, or paid like a paid multiplayer game or something of that sort. They've just decided they don't want it. They're not doing it. They've already on one occasion shut down another project that was doing it. I don't know why they don't want the revenue stream, but they've just decided it's not for them. But it's such a fun game. You really don't understand. It's so fun. And I got to play it with a couple of friends, and it was a blast. It truly was a blast. I loved Weiss Schwarz. I even went to, I got really good at it once. I went to regionals, and I got 34th out of 40 or something like that. So I didn't do good, but I went to a regional championship. So that hopefully that shows. I tried. I loved it, but the locals at my local game shop, they kind of, Weiss Schwarz came out of flavor. They stopped playing it, and I don't have anyone really to play it anymore. So if Why Schwartz, the creators, Bushy Road, they decide they don't want to do it, then I'll just do it. I'll make it completely free. I will not be charging a dime for the completed game, even though I'll probably just be uploading this to VR chat and playing there for just the core mechanics. And so we could have fun playing a actually fun game. And I'm pretty sure I know. Oops, hit the mic. I'm pretty sure I can do this. It's not. Well, I mean, programming is complicated, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I could do this with a little bit of help. So, okay. So I have now gotten. It took me a while to find this out of storage. A Y Schwartz deck in my hand. Okay. So I'm gonna need some post editing on this, for sure. All right, so to jump to a different train of thought here. So, the most important part when it comes to programming, I've been told, is the planning stage. So right here, I guess I'm going to plan what I'm going to program and how I'm going to program it. So I guess to start off, let's just go over some of the core Y Schwartz mechanics. And then as I go through them, explain how I might have to program them, I guess. So, in Y Schwartz, you have a deck of 60 cards. So, when it comes to concerning a deck, I guess the first thing I would have to learn is how to randomize a deck in an efficient way with assigning every card a value of, or like a integer, or is it a float number? Oh, I don't know the term, but some kind of number that whenever you press the button, it randomizes all the numbers in the deck. But as you are drawing cards through your deck, it's just going one by one on integer. Like if you have 60 cards in a deck, the top card of the deck would be integer 60, then 59. As you keep drawing, 57, 56, 55, 54, etc. So I'd have to figure out how to randomize the deck, but have the numbers be stable. So as you're drawing, it's not continually randomized. So then I guess to start the game, you draw, was it 5 cards or was it 7? I think it was 5. So I'm just drawing. I've got a deck in front of me. I'm just going to draw. So you draw 5 cards. So I'm going to have to figure out how to change over those values, or change over the values of the cards that you get from the deck to your hand. Add them to your hand state or hand bool or hand float. I don't know. Just so you can have cards in your hand. And then I guess once they're in your hand properly, to give them a new integer or float machine. And then so that they're numbered in your hands, cards 1 through 7, I think. Something like that, just a permanent number. So once it's in your hand, it's like, okay, this is your hand, your first card in your hand, your second card in your hand, your third card in your hand. And I would need to do that because I believe if your hand ever goes above, a certain number, I think it's 7, if you end your turn with 8 cards or more, you have to discard stuff from your hand to your Y Schwartz is graveyard called the waiting room. And then on that track of thought, I'm going to have to figure out how to add cards to the waiting room or the graveyard. And then give them floats or integers or machine to give them like, so this is card waiting room 1, card waiting room 2, waiting room 3, waiting room 4, waiting room 5, etc. Thinking about the waiting room, I would have to learn how to program how to view the waiting room in easy kind of matter. Like, that's weird. Because there are certain abilities and certain decks where it says, "Hey, look in your waiting room and get a card." So, oh boy, that's advanced kind of topic of thinking how I would display it, how you could grab it, how you could add it back to your hand or do something with it. Oh boy, that's gonna be tough. And then last thing, when it comes to core game mechanics like that, so just fast forwarding a little bit. Let's say you're playing your cards, you're playing your deck. Typically around the halfway point in a game, you will run out of cards in your deck. At which point, you take all the cards from your graveyard or your waiting room. You shuffle them, and then that becomes your new deck. So I'd have to figure out how to program it to know that it's out of cards, shuffle the deck, shuffle the waiting room, give them all completely new randomized values, and then make that the new deck. I could kind of go on and on about more Y Schwartz stuff, like how there's character cards, spell cards, and little fascinating cards called climax cards, which all fulfill a certain role, but they're the primary cards. Some cards, like character cards, can sometimes be used as a spell, but that's more like effects on the cards, and that's cases that are here and there. But I think I mean that this is probably a good starting point on just figuring out where to start. I don't want to get too far into figuring out logic on like if a card does certain effect. Oh boy, I don't even know how to do that. Oh boy, that's gonna be a toughie. So if I get rid of all the stuff on the screen. Thank you, post editing me. Oop, I should have done this beforehand. Window. Okay. So that was the magic of post edit magic. So I plan to be making this project with a little tool called Playmaker. Let's make a game object, call it Playmaker test. So what Playmaker is it is a kind of cool form of visual programming that I like a lot more than hard programming. It makes sense to me more than hard programming. It's the bee's knees for me. Okay, it's I like it. To give you just a quick test of what Playmaker does. I'm going to need the action browser over here. Get that. Right there, please. Make it smaller. All right, so what Playmaker is, let me just create a scene. Get key. Does it get key down? Okay, yep, okay. A. All right, so I'm gonna make a quick event just to show you. So this is the default state. I'm gonna just this is just me retitling things, and this is the finished test state. I'm just renaming the names, not doing anything difficult. Okay, so I went to my action browser, and I got a thing that just basically gets. It's called get key, or in this specific case, get key down. And if it ever sees that I hit the A key on the keyboard, it will do an event. So I'll get an event called Tests Playmaker Video Machine. Nope, that's big. Okay, so whenever it sees that I hit the A key, it will do. It'll send this transition. Send event means basically a transition. And I can also one-up it by making it a variable. I don't know why I'd be making this a variable in this test, but I'll just call it key A machine. All right. So whenever I hit the A key, it will go to this state. This is over in finished test state. So on finished test. Well, no, I mean, this doesn't have to have anything. I'll just say hooray, because I'll just want it to get stuck there. I don't want it to go back in a loop. So let's just hit the play button. Go to the game screen or hit the letter A. And it went from the default state, and now it's hovering green over here saying it's got the finished test state. So I've already programmed something. I mean, it's useless, but I programmed something. So I hit the A key. It went from the default state to the finished test state. Do it again. Hit the A key. I'll do it really loud. There it goes. It moved over. So it would do some calculations over here. Let's think about this from a programmer's perspective. Let's say I wanted it. I have a variable like a card's attack. You play down a card. It does an effect over here. It comes back with the finished effect stuff, and it comes back with the attack value of the card. And it'll go back to the default state with that new variable in place. I think that's how it would work. I don't know. I've never tried this before, but that's just a good way to explain it. I'm explaining to you guys for the first time, but I've been thinking about this for a bit, and I'm so confused on where to start. But yeah, Playmaker VR Chat specifically has been teasing that they're going to be allowing this plugin, and oh boy, it's a really powerful plugin. I can see why they're hyping it up, because there's so much stuff from logic to from what are called bools, which I guess are just true-false statements, floats, which are numbers, integers, which are also numbers, strings, which I don't know what a string is. There's so much stuff. Okay, but yeah, it's very powerful, and I should be able to create a small, non-complicated card game using VR Chat's already implicated multiplayer. So I would just be having to make a world with buttons and stuff that do these calculations for you. You drag and drop your card object onto a slate, and it puts that in the game. Something like that. This is stuff I'm going to have to talk about later at a different point. But just for the beginning of beginning videos, for the planning stage, I got a couple things down that I'm going to have to do first before I even start thinking about anything else. So I'm gonna. This is what I'm gonna do. When I look up information, I will be doing that offline, off the videos. But when I do get information, like on the next video, I will post all the stuff I read about in the description of these videos, and then I will be doing what I read about and going through the hassle of learning how to program. But yeah. Oh boy, this is going to be tough. Tough. So, yeah, I think that's the only way this video will work. Otherwise, this will be like hours long. This probably video has gone on way too long as well. So I got a starting point. I'm going to have to learn how to make a deck of 60 cards, how to give every card in the deck an energy value. I guess I'm going to have to get some sprites and some 3D models for VR chat. And yeah. I guess freaking yeah, I'll see you in the next what am I going to call this? My name's Big Zeek. So, Big Dev.